next CEO. But so far, a majority of governors, both present and former, have chosen to play second fiddle behind a small group of presidential politics regulars. Now, the big question we're asking this evening is, what role will governors play in the 2022 succession? And why is the list of those aspiring for State House amongst the governors so far so short? And that's what we're discussing this evening. 22423 is the SMS line. The hashtag is Newsnight. And at this time, we want to hear from the former chair of the two former chairs of the Council of Governors. We've got Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya here with us in studio. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And joining us from Bomet is former Bomet Governor Isaac Ruto. Governor, thank you as well for joining us. Governor Ruto, you can hear me? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening to you as well.
Yes.
Governor Ruto, let me actually start with you on this one. And of course, we know this coming Friday, there'll be a conference at Kasarani known as the Azimio la Umoja Conference. Governor Ruto, would you attend this conference if you are invited?
Well, I am not invited, therefore the question does not arise.
You are not invited, so the question does not arise?
Yes.
Okay, maybe you should have asked Governor Oparanya for an invite. He's here with us in studio. Governor Oparanya, you'll be there, I assume, as a deputy party leader of ODM. What's your role there first? Let's start there before you respond to Governor Ruto.
I'm part of the organizers, and I think that Governor Ruto is on the invitation list. It's only that we have not sent out cards. And I hope, Isaac, you'll get your card, and I expect you to be there.
Governor Ruto, you want to say anything before I proceed?
Well,
we get that out of the way?
Well, that's already late because my diary is now full for Friday. I'm sure Azimio must have planned this for the last 1 month or more. And Governor Oparanya is a very close friend of mine and we're a very close colleague for very many years. I'm sure if it was within his powers, probably would have sent it over to me. As a party leader, I would have no reason to object or to turn down the invitation. That does not necessarily mean I'm in the alliance, but it would be useful to attend in the interest of camaraderie.
And especially because you are supporting Raila Odinga when you are in NASA as one of the principals, which is why I asked you that question.
Yeah.
Yes, I did support him last time. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true. Yes, but that wouldn't be the basis for attending the conference. The basis would be, here is a political party that is launching probably its agenda for the next dispensation. And as a party leader, I would attend almost all the other party conventions whenever they do invite us. We've been invited to other countries, like, for example, Tanzania. Last time when Magufuli was there, and a number of other places we've attended as a political party. There is absolutely nothing wrong in attending political party conventions for various political parties. Just like inauguration or the swearing in of presidents in neighboring countries, every other senior leader would find obliged whenever invited to attend such functions.
Okay, Governor Ruto, I'll be coming back to you to figure out what changed between 2017 and now. We remember NASA, but you're telling us now the game plan is a bit different. But for you, Oparanya, so I'm sure you've been in planning meetings, preparing for Friday. Help us understand, what can Kenyans expect on Friday? Give us a hint, Governor.
Friday is a big day, and so many people are expected to attend, including my friend Isaac Ruto. We are very good friends. We have been together all along when we were at the Council of Governors. And even now when he's out there, we are always in contact just to find out what is happening in his area and also in my area. So on Friday, we are expecting many people to come. We have left it open for Kenyans who can manage to come at Kasarani to come so that they are able to attend the function. And it's going to be a very short function. We don't want many speeches because this is a day that Kenyans have petitioned to a Kenyan, to a hero of this country, Raila Amolo Odinga, to stand for presidency. So tomorrow, on Friday, he will be telling us whether he has accepted their request to stand as a fifth president of this republic.
Okay. I was going to ask you what's your prediction, but let's wait for Friday. Let me open up this discussion a bit more beyond, of course, what will happen on Friday. And, of course, the counties were supposed to be the breeding ground, and I said this earlier, for presidential aspirants. Get them prepared and for them to show Kenyans what they can do. But each of you have chosen to throw your lot behind one of the other presidential aspirants. At least that's what we know so far. Why is that? And let me start with you, Governor Ruto.
Yes, I don't think it is necessarily quite urgent that governors contest the presidential seat. The same governors would probably be around and get organized within the next 5 years. Others will probably join the Senate. Others would simply be surveying the ground. Remember that the work of a governor is a full-time job. It is unlike the senatorial or parliamentary seats where one can get involved in politics heavily and countrywide politics. A governor is a CEO of a specific county, and he would it would be a waste of resources of the specific county where he represents. If he were to be absent, then that would be similar to abdicating his duties. I think it is more important for the governors to pay attention to the nitty-gritty and their agenda of development for the counties they actually lead as of now. Therefore, it will not be most appropriate for governors to immediately dash for presidential campaigns.
That's a very interesting perspective, because your friend, both of you have mentioned that you've interacted closely quite a bit. Governor Oparanya had declared that he was going to be one of the ODM presidential aspirants. I don't know if he paid the 1 million shillings. And then he went silent after that. Governor Oparanya, you can set the record straight. What happened to your presidential bid?
First of all, I want to tell you that I never went silent.
Okay. Clarify.
First, you know, we, as a party, I'm a life member of ODM. So ODM has its own nomination procedures when it comes to presidential candidates. And in one of the meetings, we agreed that let's nominate our presidential candidates as early as possible so that our members can know that these are presidential candidates. And this was put in the advertisement, and as you are aware, I did apply to be one of the presidential candidates with my colleague from Mombasa, also my colleague Hassan Joho. And then we did apply. For your information, I paid the 1 million shillings.
You paid the 1 million shillings?
I paid the 1 million shillings. I want to confirm to you that I did pay that money. And we were told that that was the height of COVID-19. So we could not be allowed that time to meet delegates because you are nominated at the NDC and you need to, go around campaign, meet the delegates so that they are able to vote you when there is the NDC. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we could not do it. And then we were told that our application could not be processed for that purpose because of the COVID-19. So we waited, and then thereafter, we have not got information up to now what happened. But obviously, you have seen that we have been going around with our party leader, and people have been urging him to stand for president. And if you see people urging him, and you are there, and people are not telling you, urging me, then I said, okay, if people are urging my party leader, whom I respect very much, then they are not urging me, then why can't I support him?
Governor Oparanya, are you telling us as the ODM deputy party leader, till today you don't know the fate of your presidential application complete with 1 million shillings?
I can tell you, I have never got a reply up to now.
Have you gotten a refund?
And I'm very sincere. That's what I'm telling you now.
And no refund as well?
No refund as well. But as soon as there will be other candidates,
yes,
and that my application was not processed, then I will demand for my refund. Because as at now, we have no presidential candidate for ODM.
Okay, very interesting. And Governor Oparanya has given his perspective. Party leader Ruto, I want to give you a chance now to tell Kenyans exactly where your leanings are. You've told us on Friday you're not going to be attending the conference. You said you haven't received an invite. CCM affiliation with UDA, is that still on the cards, Governor Ruto?
Yes, it is still on the cards. We've said we are affiliated and we are going to support the presidential candidates of UDA, basically because they have already pronounced themselves on the question of support to the people in Mashinani, that is in rural Kenya, as well as the urban poor. They have talked about the bottoms-up approach and the possibility of allocating more resources to deal with the people at the grassroots. I would like Kenyans to understand that Chama cha Mashinani is basically meant to push for more allocation of resources to the less fortunate, to the ones who have been ignored over the ages. Our main agenda is to change the budgetary process towards a more friendly budget, and not just one that is based on the high-sounding economic issues that we have always been listening to since independence. These are economic tools that have actually failed to work or make an impact on the ordinary Kenyans. We would like to hear more about presidential candidates talking about economic tools that are going to spur productivity at the rural areas, productivity in our farms. What are we talking about? How to sort out unemployment all over the country. We must shift away from creating employments in urban centers. We've got to create economic opportunities and therefore create jobs where people actually live, all the way to Garissa, all the way to Lodwar, all the way to Mandera, all the way to Loitoktok, to South Nyanza. We want to see the youth getting involved in economic activities. And we want to see a large percentage of our population moving over to the monetary economy, that they should be part of the tax-paying bracket of Kenyans. So therefore, UDA have pronounced themselves on this question of bottoms-up approach, which we believe they are going to explain much more about how they intend to do that. But of course, as a practitioner in devolution, I know there are opportunities open for that type of approach, because they will have to come out with policy directions and maybe do budgetary allocations, either through conditional grants to the counties for specific policy objectives, or even through the CDF model, in which they can channel funds direct to the constituencies to assist, maybe like the boda groups and several others, which we have kept on seeing that we are doing a lot of harambes for them.
Okay.
But I think it's possible for us to do allocations in that direction. So UDA have pronounced themselves on issues that are dear to the Mashinani fraternity.
Governor Oparanya, you've had party leader Ruto there talking about people out there with high-sounding philosophies. Do you buy his narrative that the political side that he now stands with will provide the solutions that Kenya has been waiting for?
Actually, I don't know what my colleague is talking about, but actually at the moment we have devolution, we have the counties, and this is what we have been looking for. This was the best that we got from the 2010 constitution, where money is devolved to the counties. So the counties are at the grassroots. So if the counties are properly activated, properly funded, I think the counties are able to sort out problems that my colleague Isaac Ruto is talking about. And that's why we have been saying, as a party, we have been saying that more resources should be devolved to county governments. And unfortunately, BBI could not go through. We had 35%, and I'm very optimistic, being a practitioner also at the county level, that with 35% going to the counties, this country will change, so that we are able now to undertake industrialization, which is impossible to do based on the resources that we get. And I don't understand their bottoms-up approach, if it will be different from what we are doing from the grassroots in terms of devolution.
So both of you, as chairs of the Council of Governors, complained about allocation from the national government to the county governments. During your terms. What guarantees do you have? And let me start with you first, party leader Ruto, that the political formation that you support will keep their word and devolve more money to the counties after 2022. What guarantees do you have?
Just like we have never had guarantees from any other government, we have got no guarantee. But we are going to continue to believe that the leaders are promising their serious intentions. I also do agree with Governor Oparanya that we need more allocation to the counties, and we are waiting to hear more from either of the political formations as to how much, what percentage they are going to allocate. The 35% was a BBI allocation. BBI is neither here nor there right now. We would like to hear more. What is the commitment on the part of ODM, for example, if that is the other formation, or the Azimio, La Umoja, that they are going to allocate a specific percentage? We also waiting to hear the percentage with the UDA is going to commit itself to devolve. I was also making it clear that it is also the realm of the national government to make a policy, a deliberate policy allocation, and that will go through conditional grants to the counties to support specific activities within the counties, and that is separate from the specific percentage on allocation to the counties, because the counties will identify priorities. But in this case, if the national government does allocate for a specific activity within the counties, that will be through a policy and therefore a conditional grant to support that. Of course, national government, any national government will not be able to do agriculture directly at the grassroots. They will have to pass through the counties. There are one or two areas they may be able to do a little bit, but basically all these things will have to go through the counties. It's only the counties that will have to be supported to develop very clear and strong administrative structures that are going to be able to monitor, nurture, and grow the economy at the lower levels.
Okay, party leader, thank you so much for that. Now, I want us to switch gears a little bit. Both of you being seasoned politicians, both of you having had a bird's eye view of governance for the last couple of years, I want to get your reading of what next year could look like. And of course, let's first start with what's going to be happening on Friday, Azimio La Umoja Conference at Kasarani. Governor Oparanya, help us understand from where you sit. Is it going to be a fifth time lucky now for Raila Odinga? Is this the silver bullet moment for him?
You see, many Kenyans came to Raila Amolo Odinga, and Raila Amolo Odinga is a known politician in this country. They came to him, urging him to be the fifth president of the Republic of Kenya. And he said, I want to test the waters, talk to all Kenyans. And that's why he has been able to travel the entire country. He has had several meetings, and you could notice that I attended most of those meetings. And the Kenyans urged him. There were resolutions which were read by those Kenyans during those meetings that Raila Amolo Odinga should try to be the fifth president of this Republic of Kenya. Now, Friday, the same people have been invited to come to Kasarani and affirm that collectively they affirm collectively that Raila Amolo Odinga should try to be the next president of the Republic of Kenya. And that's what is going to happen on Friday.
Is he doing anything differently this time around from where you sit?
It's not, what he's doing different is that it is now the people who are urging him to be the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya. Before, he used to declare. So on 5th, he will not be declaring. But collectively, Kenyans will be coming together. And on Friday, it will not be an ODM affair, because I had my colleagues talk about ODM organizing the Friday meeting. These are all parties. There are even Kenyans who are partiless, but obviously who vote. So these Kenyans who are partiless and Kenyans who also have who are from different parties are coming together and saying, Raila Amolo Odinga, can you be our 5th president of the Republic of Kenya? And thereafter, there are other processes. As a party of ODM, obviously we have to nominate him. That will now happen thereafter. So Friday will not be a nomination.
Friday will not be, okay, that's interesting to hear. What do you take from this party leader, Ruto? Is it going to be 5th time lucky from where you sit? Is that how you read next year for Raila?
Well, I wouldn't really arrogate myself the powers or the ability to predict what could happen next year. But I definitely wish our country well, that we may get an appropriate leader come the next dispensation after Uhuru Kenyatta. The most important thing is that we have to maintain the peace, and we've got to reduce any rhetoric that is likely to damage the peaceful transition from one president to the next. Meanwhile, Kenyans are basically concerned at the moment as to what the economic agenda will be for the next government, and they are eagerly waiting to hear what they have in mind, because there have been a lot of difficulties facing this country up to now. So for now, I wish the Azimio well. I wish the other formations well as well. And the most important group is the Kenyans themselves. I really wish we could get a government that will respect the constitution, continue to allow multipartyism to thrive, and also support the independence of the judiciary, and ensure that Parliament is able to operate reasonably within the confines that they are expected to do. So we want to hear more from the presidential candidates as to what their real agenda is, as opposed to generalities. We would like to know what specifically do they intend to do on devolution, what specifically do they intend to do on how to spur productivity in Kenya. I'm more concerned about productivity, because we have turned our country into a huge supermarkets for imports. We have also driven our country into serious debts. There is the question of shared resources between the different generations. We are over-borrowing. What is the agenda of the various presidential candidates? How do we reduce debts? How do we stop over-reliance on foreign debt to fund our budgetary process? And the ghost projects, the excessive investments in things that never quite materializing. So we would like our presidential candidates to now be serious, and start addressing these issues.
Party leader, because I was then going to ask you what your making is of, or what you make out of Deputy President William Ruto's bid, but I don't know if you'll answer it because you still haven't quite answered my other question as well.
What do you mean?
What is your take on Deputy President William Ruto's bid? Do you think he could pull off a first-time win?
Everything is possible in politics. Everything is possible. Anything goes. Because the decision will be upon Kenyans. There are situations in which, even I remember in West Africa, a DJ woke up from the studios of being a DJ, and the next thing he was the president of that country.
So anything is possible. So for you, Governor Oparanya, where does this leave the One Kenya Alliance, including your good friend Musalia Mudavadi?
Yeah, before I answer that, you know, we were together with my colleague here, Isaac Ruto, and I remember once he was a principal of NASA, and in fact, if NASA won elections, he was to be in charge of devolution, devolution ministry. I don't know what happened. We have personally have very high respect for him. I don't know how or why he decided to go local. Maybe they say politics is local.
Do you think he's listening to the ground? You know.
So I think that is that survival, or I don't know. But as a Ruto, let me tell you that I have high regard for you. And I think that you should be one of the Kenyans that you should be looking ahead so that this country has a leader that will move it forward. And then I can now come to your question.
No, you've posed a challenge. Governor Ruto, Governor Oparanya is curious as to your political transformation, so to speak. He's seeking clarity. Maybe you can just respond. As a former NASA principal,
I have not made any turnaround. I have not somersaulted. I'm still focused on what I've always been focused on. Remember, I joined the NASA brigade because they pronounced themselves very well on questions on devolution and questions of more empowerment to the locals. You will recall that the last time when I agreed to support the UDA brigade, they were the only ones who had pronounced themselves on this question. NASA had started disintegrating, and it was not clear what the policy guidelines were. And I made it clear that I was not supporting the UDA brigade because we have got similar names with their preferred presidential candidates. But basically because the pronouncement they had made were resonating well with the Kenyans, that we can have an agenda that will now focus on the ordinary person and not the continued rhetoric on economic issues that have never borne fruits. So me and Governor Oparanya, we still continue to stand on the issues we continue to stand for as the Council of Governors, that we still want a devolved system that is strong, that in my view, I've continued to make it clear that I expect that any presidential candidate that is coming on board will have to tell us the position of the Council of Governors. They will have to tell us the position on Loans and Grants Council. They will have to tell us about the position on staff of the counties as to whether they can be declared as part of the national public service. There are several issues that were never finished by Wamwangi. There are several issues that were never finished by Nyachai Charles. And several that were never finished by Cheserem. And these are serious issues which the Council of Governors have. What is the position on the Intergovernmental Relations Committee? What is the position of the summit? Is it going to be recognized? Are the presidential candidates coming on board going to recognize this question?
Okay.
We've got serious questions with the way ODM manage itself. Take, for instance, the sharing of the political parties fund. CCM never received a single cent from the political fund allocation that was done throughout these last 4 years, yet that was part of the agreement within the NASA brigade. I'm simply saying I'm no longer sure whether these presidential candidates are all going to honor their promises and their commitments. Now, we would like to see serious focus on how to bring up the Republic of Kenya, to get it into the stronger as a stronger partner in the Committee of Nations.
Okay, let me allow Governor Oparanya to respond. Governor, go ahead.
I think my colleague Isaac must have jumped the ship quite early. Because as Miola Umoja, at the moment we have no candidate. So you do not expect, you know, the issues you have raised are very critical, especially to devolution. But we have jumped the ship very early because we have no candidate at the moment. We will know maybe on Friday if we have a possible candidate. And even if we have a possible candidate on Friday, there will be no manifesto. So you will have waited to actually see whoever is coming up from our end, what is in his manifesto or in her manifesto. And I know most of those critical issues you have raised, they will be raised. What about if they are raised? Then would you change your decision to localize yourself?
Party leader, you've been asked a question.
Myself. I'm still on devolution.
Yeah.
You're being asked whether it's all about survival.
No. That is not the issue. I've never been keen on that. I would have been keen on that in the previous elections, that the survival would have dictated differently. And Governor Oparanya understands very well that I'm the only governor who refused to sign the medical equipment scheme. Myself and Governor Oparanya, we stayed on until very late, not because we were not being harassed by the establishment then. And if I was very keen on survival, I would simply have coiled my tail and said, yes, I must surrender. But the point, ever since, throughout my political career, I've never surrendered to any pressure. I've always followed my concerns and tried to consult and read widely. And what I believe in has always remained constant.
But assuming,
and I think
Isaac,
Oparanya understands this as well. We have continued to consult with Oparanya even during this post-2017 period.
Assuming, my colleague Isaac, that issues that you have raised about devolution and about the economy are addressed in the manifesto of my candidate, are you able to change your mind and be on our side? Because most of the issues that you have said, there are also issues that are at my heart, that I feel any presidential candidate who is coming should address these issues. Will you change?
Remember, I supported the BBI proposals, and I actually contributed heavily to the BBI process. I did a lot of writings, and I forwarded them, and most of the ideas that we had forwarded ourselves were captured in that BBI thing. Therefore, we have always supported any proactive activity. The point as of now is that there is no clear proactive statements coming from the other presidential candidates.
Okay.
Be that presidential candidate, my former colleagues whom we worked together at in NASA, none of them has clearly pronounced himself. You, Oparanya, you have not declared you are contesting the elections. You seem to be coiling backwards. That is why I no longer know. So what happens? The only person who has made some statements in that direction is William Ruto. We are only waiting to see the concretization of those ideas that he's talking about. That how then does he intend to achieve this? But when he started giving us the indication that he was moving in that direction, and I'm telling you, my colleague governor, is that a lot of Kenyans have started looking at that promise to see the realization of that promise on how to deal with the ordinary Kenyans who have never quite gotten jobs and those who are struggling. So what is the solution? They are mentioning it. So we believe, a lot of people believe that something could be coming up in that direction. That doesn't mean the elections are over. You are coming on board, hopefully in the next few months. You have said Raila Odinga is coming to listen to the Kenyans at that place to see whether he may contest or not. You yourself, you are still waiting for a clear direction from your party as to whether the nomination process will move on. I would like to hear, as soon as you are through with that process, I would like to hear what then do you have for Kenyans. I'm very happy about this particular scenario now because tribalism seems to be receding, and I think this will be the end of an era in which we were deciding presidential candidates on the basis of tribes or conglomeration of tribes. Let us look at ideas. Let us start debating serious issues about turning around the economy and especially bringing back productivity, not making Kenya a huge supermarket for other countries.
Party leader. Thank you so much. I think that's a good place to actually take a break. I know you've got lots of your feedback that you've sent our way. 22422 is the SMS line. Hashtag is Newsnight. I read your feedback, get a few more questions in after the break, and then we wrap this up. You are watching Newsnight. Two governors, two former chairs of the Council of Governors helping us understand the intersection between politics and development and what they wish for the future. Stay with us. We'll be right back. You're watching Newsnight, and I'm seeing a lot of your feedback. 22422 is the SMS line, and the hashtag is Newsnight. Here's what Kenyans are saying this evening. Let's put those up. All right. Sammy, you say, why is Isaac Ruto not accompanying the deputy president in his campaigns? Where's his current stand? And where is CCM? Okay. Isaac Ruto, there's a question there to you. You're being asked why you're not accompanying the deputy president in his campaigns. Isaac Ruto, if you can hear me, you're being asked why you're not accompanying the DP in his campaigns. What's your current stand from a viewer?
Oh, there is nothing wrong. One of these days, when invited, I will definitely accompany him. As of now, I hadn't quite gotten into his itinerary.
Okay.
Secondly, I would like to make it clear that...
Go ahead.
Said something?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm saying I have no such problems in accompanying him. We will be waiting for appropriate time. I don't think he has also started his official campaigns. As of now, he's still putting his party in order. He's still receiving defectors left, right, and center. I'm definitely not a defector. I'm leading a Chama Shinane. And I think there will have to be a more structured engagement in that direction.
Okay. Some would say you're playing safe, party leader, but I'll give you a chance to respond to that a bit later on. Jomo Gigi from Okorwene, you say, why did Oparanya announce that he was going for presidency only to back down? This erodes the trust. It will take time to win it back. Governor Oparanya.
I've not backed down. I've told you that ODM has not announced the presidential candidate. We are likely to do it next year in March, around March. But we have no candidate at the moment, so I still have a chance of actually, if my application is processed as required, I have a chance of standing. You don't know what Raila will say on Friday.
Would he endorse you?
Yeah, maybe. He might endorse me, or maybe we don't know what he will say.
Okay.
So let's wait for that time. I think it's too early to make that judgment.
Okay. This is what Kenyans are also saying. Engineer Lazaro Kanyambok, you say, politics is all about personal interest. County chiefs are now busy playing a central role in different political formations. We're waiting to see their final verdict. Okay, what else do we have here? Next tweet. This one coming in from... Lazaro Kanyamboki saying, we'd like to know how former COG chairman Isaac Ruto has been getting funds for his party activities. Will his party manage to tame the UDA wave in Rift Valley, or is he positioning it to benefit from expected nomination fallout? Okay, I'll ask the party leader that. Let's take the next tweet. Let's see what else we have here. J. Vince, you say, aren't Kenyans tired of recycling leaders? When Einstein said we can't solve a problem with the same approach we created it, how do we expect change by having same leaders just switching officers over and over again. Okay, I think we have like two more. Chester Nyantika, you say devolution is relatively a new concept, and as such, Kenyans are yet to learn and adapt to this concept. In my opinion, governors need to be astute managers, perhaps with experience in the corporate world, to aid in running county affairs akin to blue-chip companies. And I think we have last one here. Kipleting Manuela, you say governors should focus on finishing pending projects before the end of their terms. Engaging in succession politics will amount to absconding of duties at the counties. Let me read one SMS here. Remember, 22422 is the SMS line. And Keter from Nandi, you say, I'm grateful for sober leaders that you have in studio today, having meaningful conversations. We need such in the future. Julius Ngatia on SMS says, in the 35% allocation to the county funds, how can the amount be increased with no proper mechanism in taming corruption? Governor Oparanya, let me start with you, get your feedback on some of those tweets, but also ask you this. There are others who have expressed an interest in vying for the presidency. One group is the One Kenya Alliance. What's your reading of where they stand? And some of your people that you share sort of a stronghold come from that grouping.
Yeah, you see, Kenya is a democratic country. Anybody is free to vie for any seat. And we have had leaders in the past and in the present who have expressed interest in vying for different seats. Oka is one of them. And as you know, Oka, as my two brothers are there, Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula, those are my colleagues. We come from the same region. But you see, they have been there before. And it's a fact. And you can see what we are having are same people expressing same interest, but in different formations. Yet
you were recently quoted as saying that Western Kenya cannot win the presidential race in 2022.
Yes,
they should
and that one I want to repeat.
You stand by those words?
I want to repeat here. That as we are in the current formation, it's unlikely that we people from Western can get the presidency. Because to get the presidency, we need others. Kenya is a country where you cannot get a president unless you are in partnership with others. So, as you see, the partnership after they moved out of the NASA coalition, that partnership was weakened. I would have wished that they would have come together as NASA. They would be much, much more stronger than they were in 2017. And that's why I urge my colleagues, because the way it is now, they look like they are the third horse. And if they are the third horse, obviously, they cannot deliver any leadership for Western people. I wish that they came back where they were and negotiate within that NASA coalition and maybe include other new parties like KANU. They are now on board. That will actually strengthen that particular coalition. And negotiating within, maybe one of them will have come up as the leader of that coalition, and then we will have had a chance of getting the president of this country. The way it is now, unless there is a new formation, it's a mirage for our people to get that leadership.
Party leader, you worked with some of the One Kenya Alliance principals in NASA. Where do you think they're headed?
Well, like I said before, I wish them well. I cannot pronounce on the direction they are heading to. As of now, I'm still waiting for them to make the pronouncement as to their agenda for this republic, other than the mikutanos they are having. And they cannot continue prevaricating, hoping that things will always be the same. 2022 is not like the previous elections. There have been a lot of changes in the political landscape in which your ideas must be sold, must be available in the marketplace for Kenyans to pick. I'm still waiting to hear more not even more, to hear, to understand what they are selling to Kenyans, other than the faces. I have no problem with the faces. I would like to know, what is it that they are selling to us? What are their wares? As of now, even my own brother, Governor Oparanya, is yet to tell us what, supposing he were to be elected, what would be his economic platform. I don't think you just go and seek a presidential nomination without pronouncing yourself to be understood clearly across the board.
Party leader, there are Kenyans who also want to know this evening, what are you going to be selling in 2022? Which seat are you looking for, if any?
I am contesting the gubernatorial seat in Bomet, and my ideas remain protection of devolution. My ideas remain creating the economy at the local level. My ideas remain more of what I've always continued to pronounce on. I've hardly changed my position and being very clear. Like I had somebody mentioning about resources. I have never required resources, massive resources, to carry out my campaign. I have simply stuck to the correct ideological disposition.
That same viewer also asked whether you fear a UDA wave in Bomet.
I am not contesting a presidential election. I am on gubernatorial, and I have no problem contesting with a UDA candidate.
You are ready for that?
I'm ready for that. Governor
Oparanya, as we wrap up this conversation, what's next for two-term governors? What does the future hold? And you are one of those.
Yeah, we have quite a number of governors who are ending their term. I think there are 25 governors who have served second term. Obviously, some want to become farmers, some want to retire.
Some want to become farmers.
Yeah, some want to continue with the politics. So I cannot talk on their behalf because we have not collectively sat together to determine or to ask each individual what they will want to do after this. But me as a person, I think I have served my people as a member of parliament. I have served my people as a minister. You remember I've been minister for planning and national development and Vision 2030. I've now also served my people as a governor of Kakamega County, and I feel this is my time also to play a role at the national level. So as a person, I will be looking at the national level, what role will I play? If allowed by my party, because I'm not going to any party, I like my own party, which I was part of when it was being formed. I want to play a role in that particular party, whichever role the members of that party will decide that I play. But I would have liked to be the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya. However, because my party leader, what is happening in the political atmosphere, maybe people have been agitating that he become the 5th president, I'll give him a chance, and I hope in the future he will also give me a chance to try my luck as the next president, after him possibly.
Very interesting aspiration there. As we wrap this conversation up, party leader, any advice to those who are retiring? You did not retire, but you've been out there. What does life look like outside the home of the Council of Governors? What advice would you give to the 25 or so?
Yeah. It's quite refreshing, and you can have plenty of time to think and reflect on what you've done and what you could possibly still do. And I think it's also quite fulfilling when you hear and you can see what you did and compare with what others are doing. And you can spend more time on thinking about what could possibly be improved if you were to go back to the same position. What else would you improve on that? So that is, there is absolutely nothing wrong in resting and not getting involved in active politics, but watching the scenario. And as senior Kenyans now, the retiring governors will continue to play a role, either advisory or any other role that may be available for them, I'm sure they still have a lot to contribute to this country, especially those who have grown up through the parliamentary process all the way to being governor. Those ones have quite a wealth of experience. We've got a lot of respect for people like Oparanya and others who have also served in cabinet before, and we believe they still have something they can contribute to this country.
Okay. Governor Oparanya, last word on this, and you can just respond. He's given his advice to retiring. You say you don't want to comment. You can't speak on their behalf, but what's your word to them?
What I will say is that devolution has brought a revolution in this country. The governors that will be appointed, that will be elected, and those that are there, they must make sure that devolution is entrenched in this country, because that's the best thing that we got from the 2010 devolution. We must make sure that we have development at the grassroots level, devoid of any corruption practices that we have been accused of as counties. And I hope that the president that will come on board on 9th August 2022 will support devolution, because that is the best thing that can develop this country to the higher heights.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, former chair, Council of Governors, Kakamega Governor and Deputy Party Leader of ODM, together with another former chair of the Council of Governors and a former Bomet Governor. He's a party leader of CCM, and he says he's going to be vying next year. Oparanya says, we'll wait and see. He's still talking to the party, and he's waiting to know the way forward on his application for the post of presidency. Very interesting conversation that I've had with two high-level guests on this evening on Newsnight. And that's how we wrap up this conversation. Thank you so much to all our viewers. Without you, this show would not have been possible. Thanks so much for having tuned in Kenya and around the world. And on behalf of the whole team that's made this broadcast possible, thank you so much for your attention from 9 o'clock till now. I say thanks on behalf of myself, the team, and of course, we've had Wilson Mushora as our sign language interpreter this evening. On behalf of everyone that's made this broadcast possible, including the newsroom, asante sana. Have a good night. That's the state of the nation so far. But of course, more news, more updates for you in the days to come. And remember, we do this every Tuesday right here on Newsnight. My name is Wahiga Mwaura. Have a good night. Stay safe. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.